Natalie Rydström here with SBR Forum videos. Here with us today to break down the first couple of rounds of the Australian Open action so far and to tell us where the betting value lies for the rest of the tournament is well-known SBR Forum tennis contributor Chris, also known as Eagles Fan 36. Eagles Fan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate it.
Now, on the women's side, Serena Williams began the tournament by bageling her first opponent and followed that up with another impressive win. Now, can anyone stop her?
Yeah, it really looks difficult. I know a lot of people freaked out when she rolled her ankle in that first match. You watched her come right back after getting treatment, and all she did was pound winners and, went on to an impressive win there. She's only dropped 2 games through her first 2 matches here. It's really difficult right now to see anybody raising their level up to where she's at. She looks as fit as I've seen her in the last few years. Kind of commented on it the other day. I hadn't seen her play a whole lot here early in the season, but she looks like maybe she's lost a little weight from last year and she's moving better, and I think that's made somewhat of a difference here. And right now, she really looks unstoppable. Of course, she's playing a lot lesser competition, but right now I think someone's really going to have to raise their level to compete with her here.
Right. Now, our last guest fancied Caroline Wozniacki as having an outside shot, though she's already dropped a set in the opening round. What do you think of her chances there?
Well, I think it's tough for her. She's got a tough draw. She's in a tough part of the bracket. She has managed to make it through. I know a lot of people thought maybe Sabine Lisicki would take her out in the opening round. She was able to work through that one nicely. But she's got a potential 4th-round matchup coming up with Svetlana Kuznetsova from Russia, who looks really determined and refocused on her career after suffering an injury last year. I think that's probably the point where she may go out in that 4th round. If she does get through there, she's still looking at Victoria Azarenka there. So I think it's really a long shot for her to progress far in this tournament. She doesn't have the pressure of being that top-ranked person anymore up near the top, but I think it's going to be really hard-pressed for her to get far in this tournament.
Okay, and if you had to predict the final matchups, who would it be?
What I think on the women's side, I think the best match may actually be in the semifinals when you see Serena Williams and Azarenka play against each other. We've seen that in past tournaments where that's almost kind of like the final, and then we get the actual final, which is kind of a second show. That's going to be a great match if that happens in the semifinal. The person on the other side of the bracket you have to watch out for, I think, is Maria Sharapova. She's played really well so far. She's dominated. You have Radwanska down there as well. Both of them have played really well. What I think may play out here is Serena Williams and Sharapova in the final, and Serena just has her number right now. She has not been able to step up. Sharapova hasn't. We saw that a couple times last year. She just got thoroughly dominated, and right now that really looks like what could happen again here for the Australian Open is Serena Williams dominating to another title.
Mm-hmm. And now the shoulder injury that Maria Sharapova had suffered, do you think this is going to cause any problems here for her?
Well, that's the interesting thing. She came into this cold. She hadn't done a whole lot in the way of prep because of that injury. So a lot of people were kind of fearful of what she might be able to do here. But she came out and she scored that first double bagel in the opening round. So she has looked good. It hasn't bothered her yet. But I think the big thing for her, obviously, is with that shoulder. It can affect her serve. And she's had service problems in the past, and that's come to bite her. So it's definitely something that bears watching here as this tournament progresses.
That's right. And that serve really is her strong point.
Yes, certainly. If she's got her serve working, she can compete in matches with just about anybody. And obviously, you're looking at a large gap in between class as far as serve when you're talking about Serena Williams, who can just pound those aces in there and dominate with her serve. And then it's just everybody else behind that. So if you've got your serve working, at least you give yourself a fighting chance going up against somebody like Serena Williams.
Now, before we end the show, are there any tips you can share with our viewers for capping the WTA?
Well, I think the thing you have to look at when you're looking at the ladies' side is it's not like the men's side. You don't see those 4 players always dominating the Grand Slams. Obviously we see Serena Williams going deep. The last year or two, Azarenka's really raised her game to be right there in the mix almost every year. But upsets happen a lot in the WTA. We see this from week to week, and Grand Slams are usually no different. So I would say don't be afraid to take a shot at those underdogs. Obviously you want to be smart about it and look at the matchups and make sure that they have a good matchup, but you've got some matches coming up where you've got, like Anna Ivanovic playing Jelena Jankovic coming up soon. That's a fairly even matchup, but there's a big price discrepancy there. So you can start looking at matches like that. I'd say don't be afraid to take the underdog, and if you see evenly matched ones, also don't forget about the spreads where you can take plus or minus games. Those are sometimes a lot better bets than looking to try to hit big on those money lines.
Chris, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much.
For SBR Forum, I'm Natalie Rydström.